Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to receive the notifications. A man of many talents, a dancer, spoken word artist, and artistic director who has taken dance theatre to new levels with his productions. He's been an advocate for the hip-hop culture ever since I can remember, travelled the world with his work, and represented the arts with a passion many wouldn't understand. With 4 decades of consistency, hard work, and creativity, this guy has always remained humble, honest, real, and straight-talking in all his endeavours for as long as I have known him. The 521 sofa today is proudly reserved for my longtime friend, none other than the entrepreneur that is Jonzi D.
That is what you call a one-drop amazingness, yeah? Only MCs of a certain quality can just do a one-drop and not mess that one up. Big up yourself. Because he showed me the intro and I was just like, rah, that's a big one, you know, blood. So I was hoping that he'd mess it up so I could be like, ah! Bless up, man.
Bro, really good to see you, man. It's been a while. I think the last time I saw you was at Colt's Barbecue.
Colt's Barbecue, man.
Yeah.
And before that, we're talking decades, brethren.
20 years, bro.
Yes.
20 years. So, look, your story is ridiculous. I mean, like, you are a perfect example of someone who's taken nothing and made it into something. Right? The first question that I really want to ask, though, because I want to get the negatives out of the way before we get on to the positives, is do you feel you've got your deserved rewards for the work you put in?
Rewards. I would say a reward for me is seeing that young kid that I just gave him a stage to just go and blow up. Have I got my just rewards regarding financially? Hell no! But, you know, really and truly, I'm sorry, we don't do it for that, yeah? In the early 80s, there was no money in this thing, yeah? All there was props. That's all there was. So for me, so long as I'm getting props still, then I'm cool, you know what I mean? And it's funny how the props change over the years, because obviously at first, as an MC, the first thing was dancing, yeah? Breaking. That was the first thing. And when I saw certain people around the ends, there was a guy called Nicky Arsenal. He was a B-boy. There was a guy called, what's his name? Mikey, but you wouldn't know his other name, do you know what I mean? But he was a breaker who used to break in a place called Dello Street, locally to us.
Where is local?
This is East London, okay. Bow, born and bred in Bow, yeah? E3AF, yeah? Big up Dizzy Rascal, you know what I mean? I remember bucking up on him in Sweden. I did a show in Sweden, me and Pogo actually. And and I just saw him just before going on stage and I said, yes man, East London, Bowie 3, I'm a generation before you. Man was humble.
You
do
were
know what I mean?
2 generations before.
2 generations?
you would, come
Man's
on,
just starting to just stress man's age now. You know what I mean? Yes, I am part of the nifty 50s, you know what I mean? But yeah, man. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, I'm the last of a big family of 6 kids. Yeah, okay. And it's hard when you're the youngest. Yeah, because you have to deal with man's cussing you. So you know you develop your ability to get cussed. Do you know what I mean? And then that helped with the rap thing. Yeah, because basically. I grew up in an area where everybody was just cussing each other. I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? They called it the dozens in America. Here, I think we used to call it crushing back in the day. And when people just crush all the time, you just end up getting a thick skin. You know what I mean? So growing up in East London has prepared me for all of the grief that you have to deal with in this rap game. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's just go back to the very beginning. Again, I grew up loving theatre equally to loving the music. Do you know what I mean? My brothers exposed me to a lot of soul and funk growing up. I think of people like Steve Arrington and Slave and the jazz funk stuff. My brothers used to dance as well. For me, growing up in that family and seeing my dad battle, yeah? I'll never forget this, yeah? My dad was in a wide second position, which is your legs are open like this. And he was doing this thing with his shoulder, yeah? And he was battling against my uncle, yeah? In the house. And I was sitting there small, watching them sweating up the place, yeah? Doing this thing. And I didn't know whether they were arguing or anything, but I just realized at the time that dance is also a weapon. Yeah, and my uncle and my dad were battling against each other. When they finished, everybody just stood up and clapped, and I didn't get it. I thought they were fighting. So from early, I understood how arts and crafts could be used as weapons. You know what I mean? So, in the ends, it was rough. Do you know what I mean? There were gangs like Poplar would have beef with certain man in Bow, and then certain man from Stratford would have beef, but us lot who was into hip hop, we could walk anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Because hip hop for us was our way of communicating, but without fighting. Do you know what I mean? It was a very obvious thing when we first see the original images of hip hop on the TV, to see how it was in an environment like what we grew up in. I grew up on a building site, pretty much. Yeah. So the concrete and climbing through these dodgy, basically
Caged entrances.
But health and safety in the 70s ain't like health and safety now.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, because in the 70s you could just run around and crash. I guess early parkour is what we started developing them days. You know what I mean? Where we just jump across buildings, and that was our environment to play in. You know what I mean? But with the hip hop, we started to realize that the walls and the ground, these are our avenues of expression. Do you know what I mean? We didn't need to have to go to do this in a posh dance school or theatre school. Do you know what I mean?
Basically, the streets were our schools.
This
really.
was our school, you know what I mean? The old school, the old school, you know what I mean? But I guess within Bow is where I developed my craft, you know what I mean? Because I would rap, dance, do graffiti. There's a particular road, Violet Road in E3, where still you can see some of my early little tags, you know what I mean? My tags was whack, by the way. I used to tag Cazo, as in Picasso.
Oh, that was you.
Oh,
Bro,
shit.
yeah, that
Don't
was,
lie.
no, bro,
you
that
remember
was shit.
Cazo?
Not really, I'm just having a laugh.
They were shit tags. I'm not even going to front. That's all we wanted back then. Props, you know what I mean? So my props never came. Now, I'll tell you where my props came, yeah? In the ends, yeah, I would be rapping with my friends. And this guy called Thad, you might know him.
What, Thad Barron?
Thad Barron, yeah?
Wow.
He said, Jonzi, because he was he was visiting a young lady who lived in the area. Anyway, he gave one of my tapes to this guy called Sparky Ski. He ended up calling me by accident, yeah? Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was looking for somebody else because my real name, David, yeah? So now everybody can have fun. Jonzi D, the D stands for David. It doesn't stand for dangerous. I was telling people that D stand for danger. Jonzi Dangerous, you know. No, it stands for David.
Okay.
Yeah? Remember, David was a king anyway. So Sparky called me by accident and he said, oh, yeah, come round. He didn't even listen to the tape. Come round. I went round to the yard, got to the yard, opened the door. Mellow
You're joking.
was there. Yeah, now Mellow I've been listening to via...
Tremendo.
Yes. Tremendo.
Wow.
So, and it's almost like, because he was standing behind the lights, so it was just the shadow of his face, but I could just about see his face. But around his head was lights, so he looked like Jesus. You know what I mean? And I was like, MC Mellow. All this choral music started to play, yeah? And Mello was like, oh, how you doing, man? He was just mad humble and stuff. And I was like, okay, yes, And I tried to play it off like, cool, like, yeah, cool, bruv. Yeah, whatever, yeah. Went there, sat down, and basically Sparky wasn't there. He just turned up. He had to go and buy something. So after he bought something, then we sat down and we enjoyed that thing that he bought all together and started playing some beats. So then I did my verse, just thinking, hopefully they'll like it. Immediately afterwards, they were like, spud, spud, spud. And from there, I was involved. We had a crew called Minds in Transit. Do you remember Minds in Transit?
I do.
Minds in Transit. And
But
it
you never released anything,
we
though.
never released anything.
And the only reason why I know Minds in Transit is because Sparky was working with me on something at Cold Storage where Mello was also at. And
No Sleep Nigel.
No Sleep
Big up
Nigel,
that
obviously.
brother.
Right? But yeah, that's how I know about Minds in Transit because Sparky used to tell me about you guys. And I've heard Mello mention it a good few times too.
That's right, that's
You know what
right.
I
And
mean?
the thing is, we had some nice MCs, but I just don't think that as a crew, we were saying the same thing, yeah?
Right.
Because them mans, they was on some road thing, do you know what I mean? Because they was involved in road business, selling whatever. Whereas for me, I was never on that. I was always that good guy. I was always smiling, the smiley face of UK hip hop. I wasn't interested in the road business, do you know what I mean? So we never actually came out with anything as far as I'm concerned. But fortunately, MC Mello wanted me to be the hype man on the tour that he was doing. Yeah, we ended up touring the whole of Europe in 1994 with Gangstar. We did shows with Gangstar, J. Rue the Damager, as well as Ice Cube. We did a show with, and Gravediggers.
Okay.
It was an amazing tour. I felt that my skill level definitely went up a little bit. I guess at that point I was thinking about seriously having a career in music. But that stopped real quick. Yeah? Why? Because at the time, and mans didn't know about this, at the time I was studying contemporary dance. I didn't tell Sparky, I didn't tell Mello. They all knew I was in a theatre school, but I didn't want to tell him a dance school.
Yeah, why didn't you tell him that? Because I mean,
Because I was shame. I felt shame. Because you had to wear lycra. Yeah? And them times there, it wasn't easy, They were coming out with tunes like Boom Bye Bye and all them things. Yeah? And I didn't want to, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I ended up telling Mello, that I do that. And I didn't tell Mello. He found out. Because we was at some club, right? And Mello goes, Jonzi! And he did this. And I knew what he was doing, but I played it off like I didn't know what he was doing. Jonzi, I didn't know you. So basically, Mello found out, and you know what? And next time it happened again with somebody else. But basically, I just said, that's what I do. What? And he was like, Johns, that's dope, man. I'm just saying, because I know you as an MC, you're a nice MC, but you do that as well. What's all that about? Yeah. So anyway, I kept them all separate for that reason. But as hip hop was developing, I saw MC Mello, conscious MC, wicked MC, get let down by his record label. I just thought, I'm not doing that. I mean, the music industry isn't for me. I love hip hop. Also, I noticed that hip hop was changing. All of a sudden, this gangster thing started become normalized. When I noticed this shift, I realized that wasn't for me. I wasn't really into the glorification of street life. You know what I mean? I wasn't into talking about what drugs I'm selling or what guns I'm shooting or how many bitches I'm fucking. None of them things. All of that shit just drew me away from hip hop.
All right, we used to have little fights in schools and didn't get on with certain people, but then all of a sudden, hip hop brought a different thing to it. Like we started battling instead of fighting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then all of that changed when NWA came.
Yes.
Do you agree? Or,
yes, I agree.
What's your opinion on it?
My opinion on it is that I believe that music is such a powerful weapon, The media is a powerful thing, And I believe that in the 70s, there was a lot of music that was conscious, that was revolutionary. And I think that shaped the public's minds, and hence the reason why when the troops come back from Vietnam and America, they was booing them, because they didn't believe in what they were doing. Because of the music, we were sharing another knowledge, I believe that around about the beginning of the 80s, Video killed the radio star. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, music just changed from that point. It became visual. Yeah. And right now, you can see where we're at today, basically. The music is fucked. With a huge capital Fucked. Yeah. And I think it's because of the times that we're in now. Everything was leading up to this moment here where your voice and your truth is really compromised. You know what I mean? And we'll do this in another video sometime. But basically, the powers that be, they're really messing with our heads right now. You know what I mean? Hip hop has gone porn. Hip hop is soft porn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just hip hop though. It's like everything. I mean, social media is like confused so many people. Like humans aren't being humans anymore, you know. But so obviously, you are working with a lot of youngsters. Are you able to get that message across to them and make them understand so they can pass it on to their friends and their friends? And
It's hard because there's a huge weight of knowledge that's bullshit, and that's the reason why you got all these fact checking and all that bollocks. I mean,
but no one checks facts anymore. They just go on Google, read the first thing, and it's
then they
taken on
believe
board. I mean, and then propaganda, and then conspiracy theories, and
yeah, exactly. So let's just go back. When I decided to turn away from the music industry, I focused on theatre. Basically, contemporary dance, I didn't relate to that because of the communities of the people that did it. I just didn't relate to them. I needed to be in the hip hop community, but I needed to do more than what hip hop was offering at the time. So I was thinking about bringing the dance back, thinking about bringing consciousness back, and basically into one show, which I called Lyrical Theatre.
yeah, I remember that.
It's made up of loads of short pieces that deal with subjects like education, police brutality, racism, colonialism. And this show was done in 1995. Do you know what I mean? I made that show then. There was one show called Aeroplane Man, which was a solo. It's a story of a young black man from East London who goes on a global journey to find home. So he's in East London, he gets called nigger, niggers forever, on NF, this, that, and the other. So, all right, let me go home. So he goes to Grenada, the land of where my parents are from, and then he gets called an English boy when he arrives. So then he goes on a next journey to Jamaica because he's got Jamaican friends, can't find home there. Goes to America, can't find home there. Goes to Africa, gets robbed. And basically, the story is home is here. Yeah? This is your kingdom. Do you know what I mean? The throne is in your dome. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I made that solo into a long piece and it got out there. We toured up and down the country. I ended up touring Lyrical Theatre pretty much around the world, including the New York City Hip Hop Theatre Festival, which then led to me touring America with this hip hop theatre show.
I think I saw a clip of something you did in Denver.
Yes, that's right, Denver.
So I remember that one.
Yeah, Denver was dope. I think the main one for me was when I did a show at the John F. Kennedy Center recently. And this is the last piece that I made for myself. There's a huge amount of stuff that I've left out. But no, I can't leave it out, sorry. Apricot Jam!
Yeah.
How can we not talk about the Apricot Jam? Anybody out there that knows the Apricot Jam, you know what I'm talking about, yeah? Made from 100% natural flavour. No artificial attitudes. Yeah? It was a live band and we would play hip hop. Before anybody who's doing it all now, I bit that shit off of the Roots, yeah? Because another quick thing, I did the very first show that the Roots did in London, yeah? Steve Williamson, the saxophonist, I was working with him from time, and he told me that I must come and check them out, yeah? He played me the album Organics, and I just heard this MC, I was like, who the fuck is this MC? So anyway, get to the studio now, and they're all rehearsing, you know what I mean? Steve Williams is blowing and stuff. And at some point they have a quick break. Steve Williams says, Johns, come up. And I had to get on the mic, innit? And I was paro, yeah? Because Black Thought, this is like some of the greatest MC, yeah?
He is the greatest MC.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right? So, I get on the mic, I just do something. I just freestyle. I just be, you know when you freestyle and you're really concentrating on everything so you don't slip up. Did that, sat back down. Malik B comes sliding up to me. Jonzi. Yo, your name John, what, Jonzi? Yo, man, you nice with the freestyle, man. You nice. And I was just, oh, really? You think so? You think so? On that stupid, humble shit. I'm too humble. Anyway, after that, Questlove was like, yo, Jonzi, so in this track here, this is the place where I do a rhyme. We'll be really honored if you can come and do the rhyming play. I was like,
That doesn't happen every day, does it?
yeah. So basically, their first show, Town and Country Club, Shape of Things to Come, organised by Giles Peterson. Yeah, and I spat with them. So these experiences led me towards this reality that, you know what, Jonzi, you ain't bad, you know. You're not too bad. But you've got other strings to your bow. Do you know what I mean? So did lyrical theatre, did all that hip hop theatre stuff. And then I did Aeroplane Man at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, which was a whole band and a cast of like 9 performers on stage. And the artistic director, the head of dance at that building, I said to him, we need to do an international festival. I'm not the only person that does this. At the time, I was the only person in the UK that was doing this, yeah? Sue me! Go on, prove it. Find your receipts if you don't agree. Anyway, after that, I just thought to myself, this isn't just a me thing. Do you know what I mean? There's enough people in France, there's a world of people doing hip-hop theatre amazingly. In America as well. So basically I said, we need to do a festival. That was the start of Breakin Convention. Yeah. Sadler's Wells, 2004, we did our first one. But yeah, man, the hip hop theatre thing, that's really what's blowing up for me, I guess. And it's not necessarily related to mainstream media, but there's certain people like Flawless, the dance group, that killed it on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, that's with Steady and...
That's right,
yeah, all of
boom.
them,
See
yeah.
them, man? Diversity got it.
Yeah.
Diversity, they need to do Breakin Convention. But anyway, we'll talk about that again. Come on, man. Breakin Convention, dude. You know you wanna. So, Breakin Convention, we didn't do it last year as a result of, you know, the pandemic. But we found a portion of time in December and we ended up doing something called social distancing Breakin Convention.
So this DISS dancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it was dope, man. It was weird to walk out to the audience. Usually they're just packed down at the front because we get rid of the seats at the front, and usually people are like, it's like a bit of a mosh pit. But just to walk out and just to see like just a couple people there, massive gap between them, couple of people there, it was saddening, do you know what I mean? And it kind of reinforced the feelings that I'm having right now in relation to, are we going to get back to living?
All right. What happens to your events if it doesn't go back to normality?
Everything's online. For the last 3 months.
But I'm saying, forget that it's online.
Okay.
The fact of what you're doing is that human interaction, people responding, it drives you to perform better, do better. So how is that going to change things?
We're going to do it. It can't end. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of pressure to end, but, you know, come June 21st, I'm going out, Bridget. I'm hanging out. I'm hugging people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because I just don't think I'm going to kill you.
Bro,
Yeah.
you see that? We ain't killing each other. I'll probably drop dead next week. So.
Sorry. It's a little frog in my throat. I better get some water quick.
Yeah. But in the event, like, just imagine if that doesn't happen. Imagine, like, come June the 21st, like, all the rules change back and it's like lockdowns again. What
I'm
then?
partying, Bridget. I'm sorry. I'm still partying. I gonna said it, but I'm still partying,
Yeah.
dude. Because I'm not gonna kill anyone. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that what we do is gonna kill you. What we do is gonna give you life. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
What we do is gonna give you life.
Do you remember when, back in the days, people used to see graffiti everywhere and there was all this thing about this hoo-ha about clean it up, do this, do that. Look, after all these years, people are saying they're paying people to come and graffiti their walls. Like, what hip-hop has done is show people a colourful world.
Thank you.
Do you understand?
This drab, grey, dirty, nasty existence.
Yeah.
We put colour onto that. We bring colour to the world. Do you know what I mean? And it's deep that you say that, because right now, where property's concerned, the areas like Old Street, yeah, the house prices are going way high. It's a lot to do with the graffiti. Do you know what I mean? Because people love that. Culturally, it's an inspirational place to be, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. You've obviously been involved in, like, so many different elements of hip hop. Is there any one side? Like, for me, it was DJing. I couldn't get the grasp of the DJing.
that's the one that I couldn't mess with. It had a lot to do with the DJ that I was working with at the time. He was very protective about his equipment, and he kind of knew that I was a little bit, do you know what I mean? So he was like, don't touch the decks. I was like, all right, cool. So I just held the mic, you know what I mean? And also, I just couldn't afford Technics back then, do you know what I mean? It was
That's why we had
expensive.
beatboxers.
Something from nothing on the real, do you know what I mean? This culture has taught me so much, dude. So much. And it's given me a value system, which for me isn't reliant on money. Do you know what I mean? And this drive for everybody to, yeah, man, gotta get paid. For me, I'm thinking about not the money, I'm thinking about what we want the money for. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I want money to be able to provide opportunities to make more artists exist in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Whereas nowadays, people want money to build stacks and stacks and they just don't know where to stop.
And where are they
want more,
taking
I
that
want more.
money? Jeff Bezos, where is he taking that money? To hell, probably. Do you know what I mean? But them mans have got way too much money. Do you know what I mean?
There's someone in this room, if you get me his address, that person will probably go and rob him.
Oh, so the cameras are not directed in that area, thankfully. Yeah.
Wait!
Sorry, we're plotting already.
Good.
Watch out, Jeff.
Jeff needs to get it, man. I mean,
Your relationship with Mello and Pogo, did you know them back in Covent?
I would visit Covent now and again because anybody that was into hip hop that lived in London knew the mecca of hip hop at the time. Do you know what I mean? And it was Covent Garden. So I'd 5, 6, 7 times across 2 summers. I'll never forget when I went there with MC Midrange.
Oh my God.
Do you remember Midrange?
Yeah.
Ex-Posse. He
Ex-Posse,
was down with
right, yeah, Ex-Posse.
Before that, he was a b-boy. And he said that he was going to go and battle the whole lot of the London All-Stars. And we were just like, oh, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's a bit.
Anyway, well, let's go and follow you anyway. So we went out there, and you know, I got enough respect for my man because he tried it. Do you know what I mean? He didn't win, but I appreciated his effort. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that was my Covent Garden experience. But yeah, man. Yeah, so to go back to Pogo and them, man. The first time that I met Mello was, as I said, when I knocked on Sparky's door and he appeared.
And you thought he was Jesus?
He was Jesus. He is Jesus, as far as I'm concerned. But then meeting Pogo, I'll never forget a DJ that I was working with. He's called Davey Diamond at the time. He was in a battle with Pogo and somebody else, and he lost the battle to Pogo. And I remember he come back going, yeah, it's because Pogo had all these friends there. It's because Pogo had all... And I was just like, oh, whatever, do you know what I mean? Anyway, I saw Pogo, I think it was at an Ultramagnetic gig. And I remember looking at him and just gave me this hard look. And I just turned away. And I thought, pussy old Jonzi, man. What did you turn away for? Anyway, we ended up being good friends. You know the ones though, you know, when you're that age though, man's looking at you, you know, you're supposed to look at them back, right? Nah, not me. I was like, you know what I mean? And you know them things that you just remember, it's like, oh, I wish I did it differently.
But you doing what you did is probably the reason why you are the friends you are now.
Dude, I'm not into violence, yeah? I don't do that. All this ghetto business, all this, yeah, man, I'll fuck you up shit. Not interested, yeah? I'm about peace and love, yeah, from morning. And anybody that knows me knows that, you know what I mean? There was a time period, I guess in my 20s, where I struggled a little bit with me being that person, do you know what I mean? Because everybody else was trying to be bad, do you know what I mean? But I remember back in the day when my friends would go, you know, if there was some beef, they would consciously not let me know about it because they knew that I was just going to be like, nah, don't do it. What are you doing? And they just didn't want that hassle. So they just, leave Jonzi, he's a pussy, or let's just go. You know what I mean? But all now, when I see the amount of kids just killing themselves, you know what I mean? And stabbing each other and that. Dude, we need love, man.
Yeah, it's not the world we basically went out of our generation. When I say we, went out of our way. Like I said, we were using breakdancing and rapping and battling and whatever as a means to stop all the violence. And then you had people like KRS-One and, you know, the whole unit there that appeared on Stop the Violence movement. So then to see everything kind of change into suddenly it's like, this isn't what we built.
What world are we creating for our youth then? Do you know what I mean?
I hold one person in this room responsible.
Of course, blatantly. He signed them all. You'll be seeing more of him later. The one thing that I would say was a challenge for me was being offered an award. Yeah.
Oh, that was MBE.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened there? Because I hear you rejected that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so for me, everything that I've done in life, I'm not thinking about getting awards. I'm just looking to get props, yeah? An award and props are two different things for me. An award, you know, especially an MBE, that's some institutional stuff. Member of the British Empire. I'm sorry, yeah? I can't put that on my heart because that's a lie. Do you know what I mean? I do not want anything to do with the British Empire in any kind of props ways, yeah? Because we are subjects to the empire, you know what I mean? We've been violated by the empire. The reason why most people of colour are in this country is a result of the empire, do you know what I mean? You know, in India, you know, they divided the whole country, you know, partition, they split up the Hindus and the Muslims. You know, there's just so many reasons why the empire is some fuckery, yeah? And the idea that I must wear that, I wrote this rhyme. So they brand your achievement with a badge of allegiance to an empire that's teeth in like a pack of demons. Colonialism is in fact bereavement, where they embedded an axe into our mental being, left us blacks believing that us blacks are heathens. They gave us the Bible, then took our land like we're even. So the missionary position left us actually bleeding. I'll tell them to take it back with a whole stack of reasons. To accept it is like an act of treason. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Block! Malcolm X, remember the lesson. Yeah, okay, that's enough. I could have went on.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, amazing. So that's the kind of lyricism we need back in the game.
You know, I just have to say, Blade, that you've meant a lot to the UK. Do you know what I mean? There was a time period where nobody was doing nothing. you were the only one that was doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Thanks.
You know, traveling up and down the country, selling your record. You know what I mean? It's beautiful to see, and you gave us a lot of hope. You know what I mean? So, respect.
Thank you, man. I mean, to come from someone like you, you know that, the amount of respect I got for you. So to come from someone like you, that means the world, man. It's you know, like yourself, the rewards, you know, weren't monetary. The rewards were the fact that we could stand in front of our audiences and perform and know that we've given something to these kids. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then to then see these kids coming back 10, 15 years later saying, I started rapping because of you.
Yeah, man.
That's what makes the difference.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
Maybe one day, give us a couple of years, we can turn this into something that they can benefit from. Turn this into a business, but a pleasure business where they can make money, perform at festivals. Who knows? Maybe a 521 festival. Wait and see what happens. Let's see what we can build.
Let's just keep saying that.
Yeah.
Just keep saying it. 521
Festival.
521 Festival.
521 Festival. 521 Festival. 521 Festival.
Boom.
But yeah, you had another political encounter.
With Boris Johnson. I come out my yard, yeah, and there's a little youth centre kind of thing. Bam! I'm seeing him there. I said to wifey, get the phone out, get the camera out now. Went up there, boom, because you know them man's always on some like, you know, let's speak to the locals. You know? So I stepped to him. I was like, yes, Boris. And there's some shit that I heard that he said. So I questioned him about it. You can see it online. Basically, he said some stuff about hip hop that he would rather see kids learning Latin and Greek than hip hop. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, you fool? Hip hop can be in Latin and Greek. It's just some backward way of thinking. But anyway, yeah, you can see that online.
But I remember seeing it at the time, and apparently one of his kids was a breakdancer or something as well.
He said that, but he's lying. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, yes,
But
I think one of them is. Yes.
Yeah,
He said
even
that shit.
the fact that he actually said, I think,
Yeah.
he wasn't even sure.
But you know,
what I mean?
he's got kids all over the place. You know what I mean? So maybe it was one of the kids that he doesn't see much.
Yeah.
The mixed race one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mixed race. Kept that one on the low with his matted blonde locks.
What, the one I lifted? Right. Two questions I want to ask you. Sadler's Wells. You know, how did that come about, and what did that mean to you?
Okay, so after performing Aeroplane Man at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the artistic director of that went to Sadler's Wells, and then he became the chief exec. And he said, Jonzi, that hip hop festival you were talking about, do you want to try it? And I just said, of course, yeah. What he gave me was, this is the Theatre Johns, I trust you, whatever you want to do, we will do it, and we'll find the money to make it happen. Bloomberg just appeared out of thin air. They put up the money, and we did our first one, 2004. We got 5-star reviews from the broadsheets. We actually, to be honest with you, it wasn't the best festival in the world, as in the programming. It's just that Sadler's Wells had never seen anything like it before. But anyway, as a result of that, we've just been doing it every year for up until now, 18 years.
Since what, 2004?
Since 2004.
Bloody hell,
Every
okay.
single year. We've done 5 national tours. We've done 3 tours of America with Breakin Convention. And what's beautiful about Breakin Convention is that we choose acts from around the world and around the corner. Yeah. So the local youths in the area will be on the same stage as people like the Electric Boogaloos or Project Soul from Korea. But anyway, right now, the big thing is that Sadler's Wells have got a new building that's being built right now, and it's going to be on the East Bank in the Olympic Park. As part of that, there is going to be a hip hop theatre academy, which we are starting, where we're going to learn break-in technique, pop-in, lock-in, as well as rap, as well as music,
So I'm guessing you were instrumental in making that happen.
Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Who else is going to do that, man?
Wicked.
In the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking to do like a NVQ2 level. It's like a foundation course just before university, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's going to be, and the focus is going to be on using hip hop techniques to make theatre. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. When you heard that news, what was your reaction?
If I'm going to be honest, my reaction was about time too.
Okay. So you didn't think, someone's just feeding me a carrot and then...
No.
Okay.
Well, I have to say, Sadler's Wells have been backing me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've backed me, so I can't even front. They've given me carte blanche. You know what I mean? I'm allowed to do what the hell I want to do. You know what I mean? For example, we did a project the other day called Next Day Delivery, where at 12 o'clock the day before, we give the artists a few parameters and they have to make a video with rap and choreography in 24 hours and deliver it the next day. Okay. But you can check that out online, next day delivery at breakinconvention.com. There is no G in Breaking Convention. I am the only G in Breaking Convention. .com, yeah? Check it out.
Oh, gosh. Obviously, you said it's in the East. What are the...
Yes.
Yeah, so what are the chances of you getting Dizzy Rascal involved? Because that would be a...
Dude, thank you. Thank you. You know what? Because I've been thinking about iconic people, and I've got a few in the dance realm, but in the spitting realm, it has to be Dizzy Rascal, because he's from the ends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think because he was at the beginnings of grime as
Yeah,
well,
he
you
was.
know what I mean? So all of the shoulders that he's standing on comes from hip hop.
Yeah.
You know?
And the last thing that I want to ask you is your most memorable play and why?
Aeroplayed, man, because it was a true story.
Okay.
That's it, because it was a true story. But if I'm going to list a few of them, there's Tag, which is such a dope show because it's about graffiti. And I've got these 5 graffiti sculptures made by Prime, old school graffiti writer.
Yeah.
And the dancers are camouflaged in each letter. And then all of a sudden they start to drip. And then there's a story about graffiti. Amazing. And next story, which you'll really like, is called Marcus the Sadist. Because it's about a rapper who's got all of these influences, conscious, gangster, just freestyle rap. And his mum's just telling him that he must stay in school. He ends up going the gangster way and getting loads of money. And then at the height of his fame, he decides to burn these trainers that he was meant to be marketing, yeah? And that effect went global, yeah? So this whole thing about the power of the mainstream media, I thought, what if someone got to the top of their fame and then they just switched and then just started selling revolutionary ideas, do you know what I mean? And then it goes into this other area. But anyway, it's called Marcus the Sadist, and it's starring Bashi, yeah?
What, the rapper?
The rapper.
Wicked. He was so dope as well.
Listen, have you seen what he's doing now?
No.
Yeah, he's on big things now.
Dude, big.
Black Mirror and all sorts of besties.
Them, yeah? It's a show that's on Amazon Prime.
Is there anything that you want to promote?
Yeah, Breaking Convention is back. Sadler's Wells on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. You can go there in the flesh. The tickets are available from now, so I don't know when this is going to be out, but...
And that's in May?
No, July.
Oh, July, okay.
Yeah, so it's the first ever summer Breaking Convention. It's called the Breakout Convention as opposed to Break-In Convention. Get it?
Well, thank you very much for being here and also for everything that you've done for the hip-hop culture and continue to do. Please make sure you follow him on his connection pages and keep an eye out for his amazing live events once lockdown is over. All the relevant links can be found in the description below. Comment, like, share, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to receive the notifications. Till next time, keep smiling and don't do anything I would. Thanks for watching.
521!